Perfect.
Well, fantastic. I'd like to welcome everyone. My name is Ben Cairns. I'm the Vice President of Membership with the Chattanooga Area Chamber of Commerce. Would like to welcome you to this live webinar. The topic today is robotic process automation, and it's presented by one of our member companies, RPA North America. They will tell about how they have worked with Volkswagen to automate some of its business processes with RPA, the benefits they have achieved, and how your company, however large or small, can achieve similar results. Our speakers today are Victa Guerrerinte. She started her career with RPA in 2014 as Business Development and Sales Manager for Mexico. Since 2017, she is a part of the management of the Mexico office, and her main activities include business development, sales, customer care, and innovation. Since 2022, she is Vice President of RPA North America, which includes the Mexico and U.S. locations. Since 2023, she is also Director of the Mexico office. Previously, she worked with Continental ContiTech at Hanover as Business Development and North America Sales Manager after completing her master's degree in 2012 in European Studies at the Leibniz Universität Hanover with a focus on international business, economics, and history. A quote from her is, "Innovation to me is the opportunity to offer our customers endless possibilities for continuous improvements to help them meet their ongoing business challenges. If the new technologies do not solve problems for our customers, they are useless." Then our other presenter is to welcome David Paul Neck, the Sales Manager for RPA North America. He's responsible for the U.S. market and is also a business process consultant and part-time professor of international business. Previously, he was Director of After Sales for Volkswagen de Mexico. He has an MBA in International Business from the University of Houston and a Bachelor of Science in Information Systems from the University of Louisiana Lafayette. Quote from David is, "The business environment today presents multiple challenges for decision makers, and it should be clear that any recipe for ongoing success in this environment must include an innovative mindset. Our priority is to work with our customers to achieve this." And then a little bit of housekeeping. It's good to know that your questions may be posted in the Q&A space anytime during the presentation. They will do their best to answer those online, and if time permits, and by email afterward. Please know that this event is being recorded, and each of you will receive a copy of it by email. So Victa and David, take it away.
Hello, Ben. Thank you. Thank you very much. Hello, good day, and welcome. We are very happy to have you here in our today's webinar. My name is Victa Guerrerinte, and I work for Avat. Avat is a German company, also located in the US and Mexico. We are dedicated to offer SAP consulting services for the discrete manufacturing and logistic industries. And we are also members of the Chattanooga Chamber, as Ben just said. Within our service portfolio, we have also a vertical dedicated to offer innovation services to our customers. In this vertical, we have technologies like virtual reality, augmented reality, artificial intelligence, and also robotic process automations, which will be the topic that we are going to focus today. What is robotic process automation? Is this an innovation technology that is worth also for all size companies or just for small companies? Is robotic process automation applicable for finance and accounting, or there are also some examples about production and logistic environments? So all of this information we want to share with you today together with David, and that's why I will give the word to David, because we are going to share with you a success story for one of our customers, Volkswagen, which we implement with them robotic process automation. So David, what can you share with us about robotic process automation and the success story with Volkswagen?
Yes, thank you, Victa. Hello, welcome everyone. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you, Ben, for that nice introduction. And I'd like to also give a heartfelt thank you to the Chattanooga Chamber of Commerce, the Chattanooga Regional Manufacturers Association, CHATEC, and the Chattanooga International Council for helping us organize this webinar today. So working with Volkswagen in 2021, Volkswagen of Mexico and ABAT began developing RPA bots to release some of their administrative and logistics and production teams from some manual and repetitive activities that had crept into their processes. What is an RPA bot, you might be asking? Well, you've probably heard the term bot mentioned. It's frequently mentioned in the press. The RPA bot is a particular kind of bot, and it's able to do certain specific tasks and produce results like capture an invoice or send an email, authorize a purchase order. The bots do this very well. And we will be going into further detail on some of these in the next several minutes. So I'd like to share with you a couple of the results, a few of the results from the Volkswagen of Mexico accounting area. This information, by the way, reflects something important. Volkswagen of Mexico's accounting area is the area in the entire Volkswagen Group with the most experience with RPA. This project has concluded already its first phase, and we're going to be moving into phase 2, which is going to be involving some more areas of the company. These first two indicators, the 67% increase in monthly transaction throughput and the reduction in monthly hours, these have occurred specifically in the fixed asset and inventory control areas. Overall, there have been 39 processes that have been automated, and there's more to come. A significant number of bots are in production now, and ABAT is monitoring those and supporting them as they execute. This time window that we have now is going to be expanded in phase 2, for example. Also, it's worth noting that some of the errors that had been occurring with these manual processes, well, those have been significantly reduced, and in a few cases, they've been completely eliminated with the bots.
Oh, that looks impressive, David. Thank you for sharing with us right away at the beginning of the webinar these figures. I think this makes obvious that this technology is really worth to take a closer look at them and to really try to understand what it is behind. So do we have any specific feedback directly from the Volkswagen people that you can share with us?
Well, yes. In general, it's been a success story. It's a work in progress, though, and there's still more to do. I'd like to share some parts of an interview we did with them last year. We spoke with then CIO Eduardo Nava, and he gave us his vision for the project. And the vision is about wanting to change the way they work, using these digital agents like RPA bots to make that happen. And the teams identified many repetitive tasks with a high volume of transactions in different business areas of the company. They realized that if they could automate these tasks, it would free up some considerable working hours for the employees, allow them to generate more efficiency and to add value to their work. So we asked some specific questions, for example, like this one: how relevant is the use of RPA in terms of innovation? And their answer was, the process innovation is not new to our industry. In the last years, it's been booming as companies have realized the need to innovate and transform themselves to remain competitive. They also said that we must give our employees the tools and the space for creativity and to devote their time to activities that add value for the company. So as a comment, I'd like to mention a few things about the automotive industry. What's going on in this industry? We hear these days lots of terms, trending topics like global warming and fossil fuels, supply chain disruptions and nearshoring. Competition is coming from lots of quarters. There are some new players that are entering the industry, mergers and acquisitions from domestic and foreign companies, labor disputes, and some disruptive elements like electrical vehicles, autonomous driving, ride sharing, and so forth. So in this environment, competitiveness is key for any organization that wants to stay relevant. Another question we asked them was, do you believe low-code platforms like RPA are important for the automotive industry? And I realized this is a pretty technical question. Why go into this right now? But it's important to mention because of the IT departments, the computer systems people, the financial controllers, if they are able to realize something about this low-code idea refers to a type of technology that does not require extensive coding or programmer involvement. It doesn't require modifications to existing systems. It simply works at the user interface level. And we'll go more into that a little bit later. So anyway, their answer was, it's really important for us as a transnational company, a certain trajectory. This technology helps us to reinvent ourselves, reinvent the conventional way of thinking, and it also supports our goals of efficiency and digitalization. So here we have a traditional established company in a competitive industry willing to demonstrate that it can reinvent itself and work in this way to achieve its goals of digitalization. Victor, give us your thoughts on this.
Yeah, this is a very important statement and very interesting one, because this really shows this strategy shift that is going on also in large companies like Volkswagen. So you are really looking at an international company, a transnational company, willing to explore this low code, these new, fresh, flexible solutions in order to being able to speed up this strategy about digitalization and automation. So I think this is really important that all other companies also know about what are the market leaders in the market or large companies doing in order to speed up this process. Another important thing that I think we need to talk about, David, is the change management, because once you are implementing new tools, sometimes the users or the people that needs to work with these tools show some kind of resistance. So do we have any feedback about how Volkswagen managed to implement these tools and managed to have a change management process also at the user level?
Yes, of course. Well, with that idea in mind, we asked them this question specifically. How have the different teams of Volkswagen of Mexico welcomed their new virtual colleagues? And they said in recent years, their change management initiatives have really been useful here in getting the Volkswagen of Mexico employees to welcome disruptive technologies like this. They've involved the employees in certain activities like botathons, creating some friendly competition there, ongoing discussions about the benefits of RPA. And this has all had a very positive impact on the people and the teams there. As a comment, I'd like to expand on this idea of disruption as compared with the traditional IT project models. This is about the business areas of a company and the users in those areas and how they can be more active participants in this process. So it's not the classical approach to IT projects, but it provides a complementary and sort of a flexible working alternative, one that can adapt and more easily evolve in response to the trends of a quickly changing industry like this. So it's also been a challenge for Volkswagen of Mexico. It has not been easy, specifically in terms of how it's been working with its IT area. As the number of bots has grown in this process, there's been some concern expressed, some reluctance, maybe some hesitance to embrace this approach. And the concerns have had to do with things like password security, resource consumption, data integrity. The concerns have been addressed and they've been able to move forward on this. One manager I spoke with said, "We learned something new and innovative." And I suppose we can all relate to that. Another question we asked was, what has been the experience in working with ABAT for the development of RPA? And their answer was that it's been a very fruitful partnership, one that has worked because ABAT has accompanied us during the development and the growth of our RPA strategy, We face some different challenges, and we've been able to see the results of good teamwork. And they also mentioned that RPA is not a technology exclusively for startups or technology companies. On the contrary, they say it's for a company like ours, there are many opportunities to explore where the digital workforce could be very helpful. So I would like to add here that the fruitful partnership worked because of collaboration and also because of a defined RPA strategy from the business side. And this, to me, has been the critical success factor. Victor, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think following this line, I think for a successful robotic process automation implementation, it needs to, you need to have a very experienced partner that goes with you all this path, a partner that knows the technology, but also is able to know the processes, because as you said, it is also about processes. It's all about the different business areas. So these two combination of know-how is what really leads to a successful robotic process automation implementation. Another important thing here to mention is also to being able to recognize in which step of this digitalization strategy your company is currently at. What I mean with this is somehow all companies are facing the same challenges regarding digitalization and new technologies, but each company is at a different stage of this. And I think it is very important to recognize, to accept, and also to respect in which stage your company is currently at. And also being able to leverage and support the team and the company specifically in what they really need. It is a strategy, it is implementation, it is a deployment, it is maybe about to pick which process is going to be automated, or it is already maintenance and support. So I think this is very, very important, and it is key for this strategical decision about which partner is going to support you. Another important question, David, that we get a lot of times is this just for finance and accounting use cases, or we have also some maybe interesting logistic and productive examples that we can share with the people? So what you can share with us today?
Well, that is the case actually with the Volkswagen of Mexico project. In the finance and accounting area, there are a large number of bots that have been implemented and are being executed today. But it's not only those. We've launched several in other areas like logistics and production and human resources. So the numbers are here just kind of to demonstrate those examples. But in these other areas like logistics and production and human resources, in phase 2, we will be going further in implementing some new bots in these areas. And we're also going to be working with the commercial areas, sales and marketing and service, as we move into phase 2. So maybe you're asking what's really going on here. How are these groups working together? Who's been involved? I'd say it's about the specialists and the management teams working together in a mutual commitment from these 3 key stakeholders: the business area, the IT area, and ABAT as a partner. It's also about a framework that establishes defined roles that are respected by everyone, with a clear focus on communication and synergies and teamwork. And in the Volkswagen of Mexico RPA project, the business areas and the ABAT team worked closely to identify the processes that best fit with automation, and proceeded to implement those processes for automation. And the IT and the ABAT teams work to ensure proper resource consumption, data security, and governance. All 3 of these areas worked on bot co-design and implementation, and the ABAT team developed the bots, and they provide monitoring and support and maintenance as they're deployed. So that's basically the story about Volkswagen of Mexico. There are lots of other companies that have successfully implemented RPA, and you can find lots of these cases in the internet and in the press. Many examples from companies, large, medium, and small. I've taken these, for example, from the Harvard Business Review. There are also some like these from this website called invoice. And case in point, the Boston Scientific example, the project there resulted in the elimination of 3,900 hours of regular and overtime work for the employees. This didn't happen overnight. It was something that took them over a year to accomplish, but nevertheless, a pretty significant result. So now hopefully you have an idea of what RPA is and what it can accomplish in some other companies. But you might be asking, what is it still? It's not completely clear. What can it do for me and my company? What does it look like? Is it, could it be my personal assistant? Could it serve me coffee? Could I connect with it in some profound way? Well, we prepared a brief video to try to bring some clarity to these points. Could we roll video, please?
ABAT.
Meet Jane, an office worker. At one time, her job was complicated, repetitive, and very tiring. She'd spend hours every day reviewing invoices, matching purchase orders, gathering information from separate systems, cutting and pasting to create spreadsheets and graphs that she sent by email to her boss. The workload and pressure made Jane stressed and frustrated at work, and worse, she brought these feelings home. That all changed when Jane's company began using RPA. What's that? It's robotic process automation. Software bots, or digital workers, can be created to record and mimic humans in the way they interact with software applications. They can be set up to do rule-based repetitive actions like copying or pasting information from different applications, reading and verifying invoice data, organizing spreadsheets, and much more. It did not take long to set up, and soon, Jane got her own team of digital coworkers that could do the things that she dreaded, those time-consuming, repetitive, and mundane things. Things that were holding her back from doing other things that would add value to her work. This is the power of intelligent automation, and it allows people like Jane to work smarter, not harder. With RPA, Jane can focus on key initiatives critical to the business and collaborate better with her team. All of this made her very productive and very happy. Think of digital coworkers as the team to automate and accelerate your company's business processes, so workers just like Jane can have time to focus on the important things at work, and even more importantly, the things at home.
Oh, Jane. So she's pretty happy now. So this is software. It's software. It's not physical robots. And I realize that some of you are very interested in physical robots. Some of you maybe even work with them. This is something different, though. RPA is a form of business process automation that is based on metaphorical software robots. Metaphorical software robots. So the software is real. The robot idea is the metaphor here. And the RPA bots are able to emulate and integrate the actions of humans working with systems, making decisions based on some established rules. And any stable, high-volume process with defined business rules and repetitive actions is a candidate for an automation like this. So RPA isn't really that new, though. It began about 8 years ago. It's gained some traction over the years, and it's growing rather quickly now. What it requires is being able to work closely with the managers and the specialists from the business areas and the IT areas, following a few simple steps. First, you've got to select the correct process, an appropriate process for automation. Map that process and define some rules with a software tool. And here it gets interesting because we've often found that redundancies and inefficiencies in the processes can be identified here, and they can be eliminated before automation. We don't want to be automating inefficiencies and redundancies. So finally, with the output of this mapping process, the tool can create the logic, and this is the bot. It can be deployed and programmed to execute whenever and as often as needed. So Why are we even talking about this? Why is this necessary? Why is it important? I believe it's important because of the major trends that are happening in business today. Process re-engineering, some of you have probably done or maybe will do in the near future. Automation, seeking efficiency and cost reduction. The smart use of technology. Innovation, taking new ideas and applying them in creative ways to increase productivity. And some of you are probably wrestling with issues just like this. So I'd like to bring in Peter Drucker here. Some of you have probably heard of him. He's made quite a few interesting observations about management's role in achieving productivity. I'll mention two here. He said that in the 20th century, management was able to increase manual worker productivity 50-fold. And then he said in the 21st century, management will hopefully be able to increase knowledge worker productivity in a similar way, but they're going to be using different methods. So who are these knowledge workers? And what are some of these methods? The knowledge workers, I'm sure you can identify. These are the ones who solve problems, who generate ideas, who make sound judgments, they drive communications, teamwork, and they add value. And the methods, this has to be, I would say, this has to be about delivering information to the knowledge workers in a timely way, using technology so they can do what they do. So we have information and we have technology, conveniently abbreviated as IT. And IT, in the IT landscape, this has been evolving over the years to continue to support knowledge workers, giving them this timely information to make better decisions and to be more productive. The legacy systems developed decades ago address this, and they continue to be used in many companies. And then in the 1990s, we had the emergence of the ERP systems like SAP and Oracle and Epicor, and these systems took productivity a step further with a clear focus on processes. And then the CRM systems, the customer relationship management systems, and modules in some of the ERP systems focusing on this, putting the customer at the center and focusing on satisfaction and loyalty. And then more recently, we have the cloud computing, smart devices, apps, and certainly the internet. All of these are strategic, probably in many of your companies. Ideally, they're all connected, and they're all delivering value. But sometimes things like this happen. And the challenge becomes, how in the world do you continue delivering value in an environment like this? And ironically, what this can lead to sometimes is value being delivered manually. That sounds crazy, but it's actually happening. Extracting data and moving it from one system to another, creating standalone reports and spreadsheets and graphs using these nice PC or web-based tools that are available today. This is happening in many organizations like Jane's and maybe even in yours. And it can become institutionalized and even become viewed as part of the job. So this manual value creation becomes the norm, the routine. It becomes repetitive and dreary and tiring, and it can become error-prone, like we saw in the video. And there's certainly a desire of everyone involved to change this. Now, the Harvard Business Review has described this phenomenon, the time being spent on these activities. They've described this as systematics. And they say it's something that can distract and limit your knowledge workers. RPA addresses these concerns. And by the way, the RPA bots don't receive a salary. They don't complain or get tired. They don't make mistakes. All they do is follow rules. And all of the activity that they do is logged and it can be reviewed for audit purposes if that becomes necessary. Victor, what are your thoughts on this?
Yes, I think just as you said, what is this important? Just to wrap up, as you just said, there are already in place very robust solutions like CRMs and RPAs and a lot of different systems and ways to gather a lot of data that it is increasing every day. And at the end of the day, as you say, sometimes the users have to download to make some reports manually in order to really try to make a decision-making process that is efficient. And this is not efficient at the end of the day. And that's why these technologies like robotic process automation, which is flexible, which is simple, and which is also low code, really provides like a refreshment and helps these users with the daily work, as we just said in the video, to really focus on the high value activities and not just in manual repetitive ones. So once we are already talking about end user and how robotic process automation works, do we have information about which business suites and software robotic process automation is able to work with, David?
Yes, of course. We have some of the traditional activities that RPA is very good at: emails, sending emails, using these Microsoft Office applications like spreadsheets and graphs, and certainly logging into web applications and business applications and interacting with those. Those are done very well by the RPA bots, but there are also some very interesting, more advanced activities that can be integrated into RPA. Can you tell us about those, Victor?
Yes, for sure. So from the very classical ones, as you say, David, from the emails as a normal user used to work in a daily base, to the more advanced technologies, like, for example, artificial intelligence or machine learning. So we're already working on some prototypes there, which are able not just to gather information, analyze information, and give us some results, but also to learn about this and then to generate predictions. So we're already working there in some generative AI prototypes. And it is very interesting what we can do if we mix these two different technologies and being able to also predict some tendencies there. So there are already prototypes working with some of our customers there. David, do we have also other use cases in other industries? Because we already talked about Volkswagen and some use cases that we already showed to the public today. Do we have some other use cases that we can maybe discuss?
Yes, of course. Well, the use cases are numerous, and I've listed a few here, and there are many, many more that probably are also valid. We've mentioned already ones in human resources and finance and manufacturing and supply chain, for example, but we haven't talked very much about legal and IT. And we could point out maybe some examples would be in the legal area, checking digital signatures or risk analysis. In the IT area, software installation, ticket management from the help desk, software audits, and so forth. So many of these, just a few examples of the possibilities that you might find interesting. So in conclusion, we would like to help you get started in doing this. And we have what we call a starter package. And with this starter package, what we could do is come in and do a workshop in your organization. And the objective of that would be to reach a greater understanding of the basics of RPA. Here we would involve the business areas and the IT area of your company. We would do a joint evaluation of some of the selected processes, looking for suitability for automation, and then make some decisions there about which ones to do, and implement one of these, a demo use case for a selected process. So here, just in summary, the participants would gain an understanding of how RPA works, how it can be used, and how it fits with the overall IT strategy of your company. Being able to see a bot in action and maybe use that to generate management buy-in for future projects, and get a clear picture of the next steps for the introduction of RPA in your business-wide strategy and in your day-to-day operation. Victor, can you tell us what we do, what we deliver in this starter package?
Exactly, yes. More details can be found in the QR code if you scan it, but basically what we want to achieve here is to already provide to our customers in a very concrete way a use case and a deliverable regarding robotic process automation with a very specific cost so that you can really manage also this financial decision and investment about these new technologies. And our commitment is to go with you the complete path from the strategy, which process need to be automated, to the development, to the deployment, and then to the support. So we are fully committed with our customers. And as I said, you can find more information if you scan the QR code provided here. And this is not all, David. We will have to provide some commentary process evaluation, and this is a special promotion just valid for only of those who are connected today. It's a complimentary evaluation of one of your business, and all you have to do is to answer a few simple questions. Those answers will help us to determine whether your process is candidate for automation or not. And please, if you scan the code, you will have a few questions. It will take you just few minutes to answer this, and we are going to analyze it and contact you later with the answers and with the results. And yes, so we're going to give 1 or 2 minutes just to scan the code and answer the questions, and then we go then right away to our question and answer round. Thank you. So if you want, David, we can go to the answers and the question and answers. I think we have already some answers there.
We have questions.
Yeah, some questions, sorry, yes.
About the answers?
Yes, I hope we have also the answers, so let me read it. Did adoption of the automated process require changes in the process that Volkswagen supplies were using to interface with Volkswagen, or were the efforts to shift to completely electronic interface already in place? The first step of these projects were really to being able to improve the internal user daily work. So in the first stage, it was really just an internal automation. It was not regarding the suppliers, but I know that there may be future attempts to also try to supply chain in terms of data and in terms of some processes, and this may also require that the suppliers adopt these kind of technologies as well. At the current moment, is not the case. I don't know, Dave, do you want to add something more?
No, I think that's clear.
Okay, so the next question.
Yes.
But it mentioned,
yes.
it mentioned automating invoice approvals. It automated such things like that. So if you had processes like that, that's a further expansion where you would have had to electronically interface with the suppliers, right?
Correct. Maybe it's important at this point to add. Currently, because this was Volkswagen Mexico, currently in Mexico, we have a specific billing invoice, digital billing processes, which is required from the tax authority, for the Mexican tax authority, which all the information need to be already addressed electronically. But at the same time, there's still been a lot of suppliers that are foreign suppliers and are not based in Mexico. So they, for example, are providing information in PDFs on other kind of files and exactly documents. And here the challenge is trying to really process all different kinds of information from local and also from foreign suppliers. And this is where then this data amount of data just exploit, and then it is important then to have also this information without errors, automated and so on. And robotic process automation is just the tool that is perfect for this.
Thank you. That's very helpful.
Thank you. So there is another question. Has control of access into the system required several tiers of validation to avoid interface from malevolent person that might wish to interfere with the system or to infiltrate access into Volkswagen systems? So the security question is a very asked question. A bot will have the same access management and the same access and user certification and validations as a normal human user. So basically, the danger of having a robotic process automation is even lower than a user, because you also provide them with a profile, with a password, with a user, and this bot is not sharing with others. You can really manage which kind of information each bot is able to process, to consult, to change, or just to provide. So as David said, if there is a high amount of volume, a repetitive task with very specific business rules, then it's a candidate for robotic process automation, because then we can show, we can tell, we can teach to the bot how they need to handle this information. And also, if there are some kind of possible errors, how we want this bot to react if it finds this kind of error. So basically, it is even more secure than a normal user. I don't know if I answered the question correctly. Not just please let me know. And I don't know if we have some other questions there.
In the Q&A box, there are a few questions. These were coming from the chat.
Okay.
Specifically written in the chat. A question about the differences between the main bots and the sub bots. So in one of the slides, I showed that there were a certain number of main bots and then a large number of sub bots. And the sub bots, Victor, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the sub bots are simply components of the main bot with a very, very specific isolated activity that really forms the part of the main activity in the main bot, but it's done as a separate program, and the bot is identified as such. But they are done this way for as the development is done modularly. The smaller subbots are able to be executed in different ways, in different routines, and they are still considered part of one main set of processes. I don't know if that was completely clear.
Exactly. It has to be completed with a process. So there are some processes that the customer or even the user would like to have as attended. That means that the user, it's the one who decides when the bot is going to run. Or unattended, that means that we program the bot to run in a certain workflow or be triggered by a certain specific part of the process, and then the bot will run automatically. So this is also possible and has also to do a little bit with the previous question about the security. So specifically, it's all about the process. And as I said, you can have these attended and unattended bots, and also these main bots and these sub bots that are just based or focused in a specific part of the process. Correct.
Okay. Another question, based on your past implementations, what are the main functions in manufacturing that an RPA bot could help with? What we have done in some of our customers is shop floor management. Could you tell us a little bit about how that has worked, Victor?
Yes, there are a lot of reports also coming from production. There are also, as we say, there are some ERPs that are already in place and some other shop floor control systems that need to download information and then to analyze from the material resource planning perspective to the logistic, and also from the production, and even for the bill of materials. There are a lot of different information that need to be analyzed, and this sometimes is still done manually. So if we are able to put in place like bots, then you have this information automatically every day and even more times in a day, because a production like Volkswagen, there are different shifts that you have a just in sequence and you have a tact that you need to look at. So I think in the matters of gathering this data, analyzing this data, it is quite important also that you have this up to date. So there is another question. Do you have an example of the access or monitor screen of your bot software? Yes, we have there some pilots. We have there some examples where we can show how, for example, the bot is actually working with this. We can provide these videos. If you contact us after this session, we are going to provide our contact details, and we will be glad to show more prototypes and more use cases. So yes, please let us know. But there are some examples. Yes. Do we have more questions?
There is another question in the Q&A box. On the shown cost per bot, what does that include? Does it include design, prototyping, implementation? Well, what we've shown has been an average cost per bot that was experienced with Volkswagen of Mexico. It basically included the design and the testing and the implementation. Would you like to add a comment to this, Victor?
Yeah, well, we have an average price of $2,500 per bot. As you say, this is just based on this specific success story. We have other customers where the cost varies a little bit, but this is just to give you a figure and to help you to try to be more concrete in regards to this technology. And for example, in terms of the starter package, which it includes the all different implementation and already the consulting, the deployment, and some hours of support, there is $60,500 for the starter package.
16.
16, exactly. Yes.
Okay. All right. I don't see any other questions. It seems that I hope we've been able to answer those that have been asked sufficiently. I would suggest we wrap up and let everyone get on with their day.
Yes. Thank
So
you very much. Yes,
I would
thank you very
also like
much.
thanks to all of you. Thanks, Ben, and to your whole team there. Here's our information. If you would like to contact us, please feel free to do so. Give you a moment to take a picture of that if you would like.
Thank you very much for a very, very informative presentation. I learned a lot. I had seen previous information you had sent out. Obviously, you guys have worked on making this much more informative, and it's very helpful information. Glad to be getting that in an email format or a link as well. So again, from Chattanooga Chamber of Commerce, thank you guys for presenting this information.
Okay. Yes. Thank you for participating. If you want to learn more about our company, scan the QR code and have a look at the information that's there. And certainly you're welcome to contact us for any additional information.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.